We are in the season where we generally show some pomp and circumstance, yet all we have is some pompous and circling back coming from Joe Biden, and it's hurting the graduates, the babies, and all of us. But hey, at least we don't have those mean tweets from Orange Man Bad anymore, right? Let me explain. Graduations are happening all over the country, but in the Biden administration, it is always and forever will be all pomp and circumstance. Or in their case, it's all pompous and some circling back. And that means more pain for you, because as I said, the old man is pompous and cannot help but make it all about him.
Before I began my speech, a thought crossed my mind as I was told the class of '72 is here. I was appointed to the Academy in 1965 by a senator who I was running against in 1972. Never planned it that way. I wasn't old enough to be sworn in. I was only 29 years old when I was running.
Don't worry. You can count on Joe to start the lies from the onset.
I didn't come to the Academy because I wanted to be a football star, and you had a guy named Staubach and Bellino here. So I went to Delaware.
Can I get a fact check on aisle one?
The president was born in 1942, graduated from the University of Delaware in 1965. In his address, he said he was appointed to the Naval Academy in 1965. Was he? Was it in 1965?
So I did not hear that part of the speech, so I would have to. Okay, I did. I missed.
A lot of writing about it.
I hear you. I hear you. I have not. I need to read it myself and just go back and see what you're talking about exactly. I can't speak to it right now.
And let the circle back portion begin. Those poor U.S. Naval Academy graduates stuck on that field listening to an old man lie about his existence almost 60 years ago when they weren't even a twinkle in their own parents' eyes because some of their parents hadn't even been born yet. But here's Joe talking about his glory days, and he's still reeling in his glory days, especially as they're enshrined at his alma mater.
Though I think even my professors would be surprised that there's a Biden School of Public Policy and an administration at the University of Delaware. Thank you, Tanya. But no one is more surprised than me.
I think more of us are surprised how you supposedly managed to get 81 million votes. So real quick, let's get to today's question. Who has given a quality graduation speech in your lifetime? Please let me know in the comments because I'd like to hear about true inspiration and not the hot air blowing from the likes of this president. And then, of course, if you could share this video, we can all be inspired because old Joe is only inspiring the activists to engage.
If there's one message I hope you take from me today, it's this is no time to be on the sidelines. It's not hyperbole. I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Like the Grinch's heart, or?
We need all of you to get engaged in public life, the life of this nation. Because here's the simple truth. You're graduating and entering a world at a momentous and consequential and defining time. The next 10 years of your life are going to determine what the next 50 years of this nation are going to look like. We're at one of those inflection points in history where things are changing so fundamentally that we have to act.
But why? Why is it changing so fundamentally? Here's the truth. Joe's people who wrote that speech want to grab a hold of every mushy brain and get them to only follow what they want, which is complete government control. I said Joe is all about that pompousness, shown when everything is all about him, but also the circumvent and circle back. This is the distraction, like when they just invited BTS, which I guess is a K-pop group, which I guess means Korean pop music.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. So much excitement. I know it's the Fed chair meeting, right? I know.
The press secretary for the White House finds it also funny that the Fed chair meeting and about how inflation is insane and ruining lives was happening, but we got Korean boy band in town. See, they want you focused on the dumb so they can keep doing what they've been doing, squeezing out everyone who just wants to live their lives with their families in a country that used to value individual rights and freedoms. They don't actually value those silly things. They're too busy bragging about hanging out with dictators.
I spent more time with Xi Jinping than any world leader has. Over 76 hours, we traveled 17,000 miles in China and the United States together. We were on the Tibetan plateau, and he turned to me and said, "Can you define America for me?" And I said, "Yes, I can. In one word, possibilities. Everything is possible in America, not a joke."
You can't even define woman. But either way, if you have to say "not a joke" after it, you don't believe it. Because none of it is funny. And if everything is possible, as he just said, then stop calling everyone who disagrees with the Biden agenda a bunch of racist bigots. Because if Joe believes that everything is possible, then it is possible that people can have a difference of opinion and still exist with one another. What we have in this country is not that acceptance or inclusivity, as he say. We don't even have science. But Joe understands that, science is hard.
I'll bet there were times you wondered if you'd ever see this day. Especially those early days when you had to chop everywhere, memorize every reef point to make it through the sea trials, and even passing chemistry, for God's sake.
That lack of science knowledge is quite apparent in this administration. We can't decide on how many genders there are. We don't know that men can't menstruate or that only women birth babies. And then when these babies are born, despite objections from the far lefties, we can't feed them because a formula shortage and pure politics is at play. That is, unless you are south of the border.
It's easy. They have it everywhere, at the pharmacies, any store. It's just expensive.
For me, it wasn't difficult. Here in Tijuana, we can find it in the pharmacies or our local mall, like Walmart. So we just go and buy it.
No problems in Mexico. Once upon a time, this country would help out other countries that had difficulties with families being able to feed babies, and we'd airdrop food for them, like in a war zone. Now we've become those countries, and Mother Government is making it all pomp and circumstance about it when they finally do decide that just maybe something should be done. The First Lady and greatest Dr. J not to play basketball, Dr. Jill Biden, and Surgeon General Vivek Murthy last week welcomed the second delivery of infant formula from Europe at the Dulles International Airport. And Mother Government had to do that since we can't supply it ourselves in what used to be the most prosperous and powerful nation.
I've always said that food is love, but food is life too. And I've been heartbroken to hear the stories of parents searching for formula. As a mom and a nana, it's impossible to hear the stories of children suffering and not imagine your own children in the same position. There's more to do. We know that. Joe knows that.
Ya think? Does he know it, though? Because he just keeps saying everything is his highest priority, and then the problems just get worse. And here's more of the circle back, circumvent portion of our discussion, where Biden keeps trying, lying, and buying the horse bleep from those even further left of him, like the quota filler of a vice president. Which brings us to... Where in the world is Kamala Ding Dong? Hoofda! She's starting to act more and more like Joe every day.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good. How about Marisa?
Kamala Ding Dong is focusing her attention not on the baby formula, but on when those babies do grow up and they go on to school and maybe they have to ride the big yellow school bus.
The question for us as leaders and the adults is whether we are putting the resources and the priorities into allowing our children to thrive. And so I think about this subject of our yellow school buses in that regard. Because think about it, yellow school buses are our nation's largest form of mass transit. How about that? Every day, so yes, and let's applaud because it gets them where they need to go. And every day, then think about this in terms of the numbers. Every day in our country, more than 25 million children ride to and from school on our nation's fleet of school buses every day. And 95% of our nearly 500,000 school buses, now here's the point, run on diesel fuel.
How about that? The wheels on the bus do indeed go round and round. And Kamala gave her usual round and round word salad, but at the end there, as she said, here's the point. Our buses run on diesel. Now, she wanted you to go Mother Gaia on all of this because that's all she really cares about. The rest of us care about reality, and that reality in the form of how much that diesel actually, and I guess gasoline as well, costs these days. For you visual folks, just look at the map of gas prices. Hit yet another record high, record high of $4.67 per gallon on average across the nation, according to AAA. For you more detailed and organized folks, just look at that current average of $4.67 compared to 1 year ago, just after Joe got into office, when prices had just crossed the $3 mark. Fact. And that diesel fuel, well, it's just sitting at $5.53 now compared to $3.18 a year ago. So, that's only an increase of $2.35 per gallon in the past year. But that diesel fuel is bad. So very bad that you should have to pay $1 million per gallon if Kamala has her way. If only we could have seen this coming. Oh, they did see it coming, but they just, they're misguided in the inflation threat. And now here we are. Quick, better circumvent any responsibility. Joe Biden took time out of his busy day of naps to supposedly write an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal called Joe Biden, My Plan for Fighting Inflation. Of course, that meant he will stay out of the way. He said he won't meddle with the Fed, but he will tackle high prices.
I want to start with inflation. Where does the White House see inflation? Do you see it moderating? Is it going higher? Or do you see a slowdown?
Well, I think where we are right now is in a transitioning from what has been a historically strong economic recovery to what can be more stable and resilient growth. This president and our entire team understands that when the price goes up at the pump, typical families feel it. And as to your point, when the price of diesel goes up, it affects logistics and transportation costs. And this is, unfortunately, the impact of Putin's war in Ukraine. The price of diesel and gas at the pump are up more than $1.50 since Putin started amassing troops at the border, because we've brought Russian oil off the market and Russian refinery capacity to create diesel off the market as well.
Putin! It's that Putin once again. No real answers because they don't want real solutions. They want the perpetual feeling of government intervention and dependence. And that's the action that Biden encouraged those college graduates to take. Interestingly enough, it was a millennial man in Paris who took action in pursuit of saving Mother Gaia by dressing as an old woman in a wheelchair to get close up to the painting of the Mona Lisa at the Louvre, and then save Mother Gaia by throwing cake at said painting. Yes. Smear cake on the bulletproof glass case of a painting that was completed in the early 16th century to raise awareness for the destruction of the planet. And also, you must be a male dressed as an old lady. Yes. That is the transition we are in, I guess, that Biden was referring to earlier. Mona Lisa's reaction says it all. Admit it. That was a sick burn. You just giggled. You giggled at that one. Anyway, happy graduation to anyone out there who just graduated. At least now you can be rid of the indoctrination camps and get a slap of reality like the rest of us. Welcome. But maybe you're still holding out for those loan forgiveness promises that Joe is circling back on. Anyway, here's to really living life by giving those F's: faith, family, and friends. Please share this video if you know of a graduate or you just want to show some pomp and circumstance. Until next time, stay healthy, America.